All right. Hello. Check-in for the Oathbound book vlog. So I'm actually having fun doing the check-ins. So I see why so many channels are like doing these check-ins, because it doesn't make it feel like you need to get it done in like a 24-hour vlog or something like that. Which I commend those people that can do that, and I tip my hat to them, because I don't have the concentration for that. But anywho, so I've read the first chapter after, or like part one, first chapter, right? So after we know Bree is gone and she's been with the Shadow King, or whatever he calls himself, for over 24 hours. So part one goes back in time from when she gets taken, like the moments after. As a matter of fact, I believe William states it's like 10 minutes after Bree disappeared. And all I have to say is Nick is like cutthroat. Like, it's a different side of him. Not like bad or anything, because he's like, woof, 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 we need to get the job done. We need to find Bree. We need to find So. Like, we need to get this done. But that's all it is right now, is them like standing around talking about, like pretty much going through the questions they have about the disappearance and the little that they do know. So there's not a whole lot going on, but they've like come to a realization that they're probably gonna know more when more comes to light. But the little that they do know is putting pieces together. They do know, you just have to read it. I want to give, because I think in my last vlog update I gave a spoiler away. I don't want to give any more spoilers. I'm trying not to do that, but like, you come to terms with it. The only shocker in the entire chapter is at the very end of the chapter. Like, I couldn't believe that he did that. I couldn't believe that he did that. And like I said, I'm trying not to give any spoilers, so I'm just like, oh okay. And I had to Google the meeting that he called, like what the terminology was for that. I never heard of it, and it's Latin terms that were put together to make a word, and it's just essentially like a formal meeting, in the sense of having all the big wigs at the meeting. Like, we're going to talk about this here, this mess, time now. We're not putting anything off till later time, or none of that, skibbity stuff. Actually, I think I need to stay over here. But like, we're gonna talk about all this right now. But I did think the biggest laugh from that meeting being set up is the fact that he was like, okay, let's not pretend that you haven't been trying to get me killed and replaced for like the longest time. I was like, oh dang. He's just telling them outright, like, we're done playing the dog and pony show. Let's just go ahead and tell it like it is. You want me dead, so we're gonna do this thing, and this is how it's gonna happen. And I was like, okay, Nick, this is the sign of you I've never seen before looking self. So yeah, that's where we are in the book, and it's just all with that one chapter. I just read that one chapter. So I am actually right now on my way to get a wedding shower gift, and see if Target has any button-up scrubs for the wedding shower. It's a Grey's Anatomy themed wedding shower, and anytime I have a chance to even cosplay a little bit, I'm going for it, especially when my friends are involved, because I used to watch Grey's Anatomy way back in the day. I was never a huge fan, but I never disliked the show either. So I'm just like, I need a scrub. I already got my little stethoscope that I got with my students on a field trip that I took them to Harris Stowe. So I'm like, I'm definitely going down the wrong way right here. Can never tell sometimes with the way Target's parking lot is set up. Yes, I know, I'm going to Target. Please don't comment about it. But I have a gift that I need on short notice. So, all right, check in later. Hey guys, back with another video. Please forgive all of this. I have not been taking care of my hair for the month of June, and yeah, so there's that. And then I went swimming yesterday, so I gotta, hook myself up. Anywho, so it's been roughly a month or a couple weeks to a month since I last updated you guys on my reading of Oathbound. Yes, I'm still reading them. Yes, I'm still doing the blogs. Well, I'm still reading. I've been lacking on the vlogs. But the last time I think I made a clip, which I don't think I uploaded, it should be the clip right before this clip. I had just read where Nick was like, this is how it's going to happen. Okay. And I'm trying not to give any spoilers. But yes, Nick stepped up to the table, asked for a meeting. They had the meeting. They granted him what he wanted ish. He asked for the meeting and didn't think about the other things that would come into play. There was like a little breakout fight there, and then essentially the granting of Nick's wish at that meeting sets into play, right? And then we go back to where Brianna is. Actually, we go back to where Brianna's friend is. She's been taken somewhere to be, what do you call it? She's been taken somewhere to be kept safe while she's in her state of being. So that's been crazy. And Valak is one of the people that is taking care of her. And that's also been crazy. But now we get back to where Brianna is. And oh my gosh. Brianna is definitely using the king or the old man, or whatever other nickname they have from him, just as much as he's using her. The only difference is that, and this part is a spoiler, is that she's using him without all of her memory because he did something to her, which is still the thing we're trying to figure out, like what exactly did he do to her. Looky here. Okay. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. I'm now on chapter 19. I think the last clip that you'll see right before this was, I think that was chapter 10. And I'm still only 37% through this book. Like, look at this. Look at this. Like, that is not, that's my book. Dreams. Okay. But so, like, I haven't even broken the 50%. Like, this makes me feel good that I'm further along, but like, dang. So, like, we're still going strong. But now that Brianna has got a couple more answers in her favor, because she went somewhere she wasn't supposed to be with the twins, we did find out what the twins actually are to the king. And look, they might be, well, they can actually think they know a little bit more about them being in dangerous territory, but I think they are in more dangerous territory than even they realize that they're in. Kind of like the same for Brianna. Like, her eyes were just open with her going to this place that she wasn't supposed to be, and then having a conversation with Uberus, who is the king, the next morning, which is where we are now. It's the next morning, and now they're in like Uberus, because that's one of his masks or people that he turned into, right? Uberus is like family's home that they turned into like this training center. So she's there with Uberus, and she's asking him all these questions where it's like opening her eyes up, like, oh dang, like I thought I knew, but I didn't know. And she's definitely learning some more things. But she's a very quick thinker, very quick on her feet thinker. So hopefully all of this information that she's finding out she can use to her advantage later, because like my girl, like, come on. We need you out. We need you to get strong fast, and we need you out. But then, like, the other question still lies, like, how are you going to escape from this guy? He's like the oldest demon out there. Um, like, literally the oldest demon out there. Like, how are you going to get out without dying? Or does she die in the end to get out and save her friends and save like generations of crafters and root crafters and, more people at the round table, stuff like that. Maybe she breaks the whole like warlock and I want to say demon trades or whatever it is. Maybe she like makes it to where like there's no backstabbing in it, and everybody is like as fair as fair can be with the situations that they're in. I don't know, but it's definitely like, I don't think that she's going to be like the end all be all, like, oh, victory and now everything's like pretty, because like this is a world of magic and it can't just all be pretty, but it can be civilized, right? And peace treaties type things. So now she is, after she's done asking all the questions, now they're actually like training. And I think she's going to ask more questions while they're training in this place, because that's what seems like it happens. But I'm happy at the fact that Brianna is taking in this information and remembering it and questioning the king. Like, what is your true motive? Like, we know that I make you stronger and all that jazz, but like, how are you trying to get back your crown and all that stuff? Ooh, I think that might be a spoiler. But like, how are you gonna get back your crown and make things better? Because I don't know if, no, it definitely wasn't said in the last one, but so that means I can't say it, because I already gave 2 spoilers, and I'm trying not to do this without spoiling. But like, he's the king, so like, and she's the scion of author. I think it's scion of author, or the person of author or whatever. So like, but was Arthur the king, or was he the king? And did Arthur do some stuff to make it to where he wasn't the king, which is why we got the Merlins? Like, but anyway, yeah, that's all. That's all I can say without truly giving too much away. Like, I should have probably started this as a spoiler reading vlog, because like, I can't say a whole lot except it's a good read. It's a really good read. Yeah, so I'm gonna go read some more, and I don't know if I will update you today or if I'll update you, in another couple days or whatnot, because I am actually trying to finish this book this week. So if there's not another clip after this, then peace out. And that's all I have for you today. And I will see you in my next one. And then if there is another clip after this, and I said all this for no reason. All right, bye. Okay, another update. All right, so I just read chapter 22. And something that I feel like I have realized before in other books, but it took me this book to truly like really realize, is that we can get so caught up in our own grief and happenings that we don't realize that the people that are there for us are also, going through their griefs and happenings, and they're not voicing them. They're not voicing them because they're so worried about you and what you're going through. And they kind of, not always, but sometimes kind of like diminish what they're going through. And it makes me more and more like very aware of the Galatians 6:2 scripture of carrying each other's burdens. But man, somebody needs to give William a trophy. I am so happy for William, because he has the other person that's on this journey with him and Nick, that is actually looking out for him. And it's crazy because then in turn, I do feel like because William is such a good person, that William will also look out for this person, like no matter what, just the same as he's looking after Nick. But that is also depending on this person's allegiance to either Nick or the table. But what is it, the table? Yeah, the table, I think. Whew. There's so much about the author world that I thought that I knew from, doing, like, because I love history. So in my little research of doing history, author and the rounds of the night table, I thought that I knew a whole lot, but I don't. And of course, with all the fantasy shows and books that I've read, I thought I knew a little bit more about magic and, Scion and Demon and Cambion and all that stuff, and magic and root. I do not. And you would think as a Christian that I would probably know more, so that I can, very much so, like, know the difference between the things, so that way, I don't have false idols or other, things that I would put before God. But man, sometimes reading fantasy makes me very aware of what I don't know and what I need to continue to grow in and research in. But man, chapter 22 really hit the heart, bruh. Yeah, okay. So, until my next check-in. Peace. Okay. So, last check-in for this vlog. This will actually be the last check-in. All I had to say is that Bree Matthews still has the same courage that she did before she lost parts of her memory. Look, all I can say is so far so great. I am now 50%, actually 52% of the way through this book. I have been reading it myself and listening to the audio when I have to get up and cook or clean. But I've been doing both with thick books like this and 3 children to bother me all the time. And for me to still do my, house duties, because everybody has a part in help keeping the house decent, all that jazz. I'm not able to just sit and read all the time. Plus, even though teachers have the summer off, we really don't have the summer off. Like, we still have to do curriculum and all that stuff. But so far it's so good. Nick actually surprised me in one of the chapters. I think it was chapter 30. No, chapter 29. In chapter 29, Nick surprised me with how much he does actually care about William and how much he does take care of William, even when William doesn't think that he is. So that was actually really cool to actually see the full side of Nick and understand that, considering my clip right before that, with me not thinking that Nick actually cared enough to care more about himself and Bree. But even in caring about Bree, it seemed like he only cared about himself. But you start to get more of a picture the more he doesn't say, and with the questions that are asked. So I don't know. So far, it's been a really good read. I need to do something with this. That's why I keep on looking up. I need to do something with this. Anywho, um, yeah, yeah. That's all I got. That's all I got. So far so great, and I don't know. I'm loving the loyalty and the friendships to each other, and how Bree is developing civilized relationships. And what I mean by that, okay, civilized may not be the word. Civil is more the word. So like, you have your friendships, and then you have associates, which are um, civil relationships, to where you guys can be civil with each other, not necessarily friends, but you have the same goal. And that seems to be the relationships that she has with the two people that she has to be with right now, the twins. So far so good. And until next time, next vlog. Bye.